laborer. Oh, this is for the high school thing?
Can't see the TV.
But if I'm interested in
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is February 25th, and the time is now 7:30. We have quite a bit on the agenda for our regular agenda, as well as a couple other special items. So if everyone could rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Budmats.
Present.
O'Brien.
Here.
Veneziano.
Here.
Bessetti.
Here.
Diastis.
Present.
Sonoyka. Here.
With 6 present and 1 absent, there still is a quorum this evening. So therefore, members of the audience are reminded that these proceedings are being videotaped for current and future broadcast over the city's cable television channel. First order of business for this evening is to approve the February 11th, 2020 City Council meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve these minutes? So moved. Thank you, Alderman Budmats. Thank you for the second, Alderman O'Brien. Is there any corrections, additions, or deletions to these minutes? Seeing none, the question is, shall the minutes be approved? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, and the minutes are approved. The next step here in this agenda, and we might as well get right to it, there are 2 items this evening for call for deviation. One of them is to swear in some new police officers to our force, which is a great opportunity for us all to recognize them. And the other is something equally important, and that is also some city manager appreciation certificates to be handed out. With that said, I would like to ask for a motion to deviate.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman Sonoyka. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Alderman Veneziano. Is there any discussion on deviation? Seeing none, then we will go ahead and deviate from this evening's agenda with all those in favor saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Chief, why don't you come on up and join me? And
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Council. Can you hear me on this? Is this working? All right, today is a very special. There it goes. There was a delay. I'm like, I didn't hear anything. Today, as the mayor said, is a very special day. Today we have 4 new officers starting, and I know it seems like we've been doing a lot of swearing in. Actually, I just checked the roster. In the last 4 years, 25% of the police department is new regarding sworn officers. So, which is really an exciting time for this agency. But like I said, today we do have 4 officers. I'm going to call them all up: Officer Bayang, Officer Mack, Officer Monterrubio, and Officer Paez. You want to come on up? And Officer Bayang, he actually came to us from Loyola University, was a police officer there. Officer Max started, he was in Bloomingdale Public Works, if I remember correctly. And then Officer Monterrubio was an auditor, and Officer Paez was at Harper College Public Safety. So we're very excited, and at this point I'll turn this over to you, Mayor. You want to start with Officer Bayang?
yeah, Officer Vang, nice to meet you. Thank you. Are you looking forward to this? Yes, absolutely. All right, if I can have you hold the mic and raise your right hand. And when you're ready, you repeat after me. I, William Bayang,
I, William Bayang,
have been appointed to the office of police officer
have been appointed to the office of police officer
in the city of Rolling Meadows, County of Cook,
in the city of Rolling Meadows, County of Cook,
do hereby solemnly promise that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois
and all the laws and ordinances of the city of Rolling Meadows,
and all the laws and ordinances of the city of Rolling Meadows,
and that I will perform the duties
and I will perform the duties
of the office of Rolling Meadows Police Officer of the office
of
Rolling
Rolling
Meadows
Meadows Police Officer.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
To the best of my ability.
To the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We do something sort of special here. When an officer is sworn in, we have them choose someone that means a lot to them. It could be a family member, a mentor. And Officer Bayang's going to have his dad, who is retired police chief for Waukegan, do his star pinning. You should be an expert at pinning on these stars.
It's hard. It's not easy.
And you can stay up here because we're going to take pictures afterwards, too.
Nice to meet you. Are you ready? All right. I, Stephen Mack,
I, Stephen Mack,
having been appointed to the office of police officer
having been appointed to the office of police officer
in the city of Rolling Meadows, county of Cook,
in the city of Rolling Meadows, county of Cook,
do hereby solemnly promise
do hereby solemnly promise
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and all the laws and ordinances of the city of Rolling Meadows,
and all the laws and ordinances of the city of Rolling Meadows,
and that I will perform the duties
and I will perform the duties
of the office of a Rolling Meadows police officer
of the office of a Rolling Meadows police officer
to the best of my abilities.
to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
And Officer Mack has chosen his mom, Lorraine, if she wants to come on up. There you are.
Come up to the front and the center so everyone can see you. It's called Mama Moment. So you can have plenty of pictures. We'll definitely give plenty of time for that. I would want them if I were you. Nice to meet you. Are you ready? Yes, sir. I, Michael Monterrubio,
I, Michael Monterrubio,
having been appointed to the office of police officer
having been appointed to the office of police officer
in the city of Rolling Meadows, county of Cook,
in the city of Rolling Meadows, county of Cook,
do hereby solemnly promise
do hereby solemnly promise
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and all the laws and ordinances of the city of Rolling Meadows.
and all the laws and ordinances of the
The
city of Rolling Meadows.
You got it.
Sorry.
That's okay. And I will perform the duties
And I will perform the duties
of the office of Rolling Meadows police officer
of the office of
Rolling Meadows.
Rolling Meadows police officer
It's a tongue twister. To the best of my ability.
to the best of my abilities.
You got it. Congratulations.
And Officer Monterrubio is going to have his father, Mario, pin his star. And also on a side note, Michael here graduated recently the Chicago Police Academy and received the top physical fitness award. So congratulations to you on that achievement.
Are you ready? Yep. All right. I, Brooke Pius,
I, Brooke Pius,
having been appointed to the office of police officer
having been appointed to the office of police officer
in the city of Rolling Meadows, county of Cook,
in the city of Rolling Meadows, county of Cook,
do hereby solemnly promise
do hereby solemnly promise
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and all the laws and ordinances of the city of Rolling Meadows,
and all the laws and ordinances of the city of Rolling Meadows.
and that I will perform the duties
And I will perform the duties
of the office of a Rolling Meadows police officer
of the office of a Rolling Meadows police officer
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Brooke has chosen a mentor of hers, Brad Grossman, retired Deputy Chief of Palatine and currently with Harper College Law Enforcement Program.
Terry, let's go ahead and acknowledge those others who deserve certificates, and then we'll keep the floor open for photos for everybody, and they can engage in the pictures at that time.
Indulge me just for a few minutes. Obviously, what we have in the agenda was more of a mock area. Terry, if you would come up here. So, certificate of appreciation presented to Terry J. Valentino for his extraordinary professional service and dedication to the city of Rolling Meadows since June 2nd, 2014, as Deputy Fire Chief and then Fire Chief. He will be retiring very shortly. We will be missing him. He didn't want anything, and you know me, we still have to do something. So here's your gag certificate, but this is actually from the city of Rolling Meadows, and we appreciate all that you do. And again, we don't just let people walk away with everything else.
So I will open this, but I don't consider this a gag. I considered the office of Fire Chief and Deputy Chief prior to this an honor. I've been blessed with good people, with a good boss, Barry Crumstock, the best fire department in the northwest suburbs, if not Illinois. I've seen it. I've worked in 4 other departments. We are second to none, including police, public works, and again, our fire department. We've had a few hurdles over the last few years with getting fire stations up and running. It's going to be done in the middle of April, and so I can clear that last hurdle, and I'm finished. I'm hit the finish line running. Thank you, and thank you.
Yeah, Valentino way.
So this is any other way? So this is not the only way. My wife thinks it's always my way, but now I've got it proved it's always my way. Thank you very much.
And so at this time, we'll leave the floor open for any family members and any of the newly sworn in to go ahead and take pictures. It's a good moment. I would definitely indulge in taking those photos and saving them. I would recommend that. So go ahead and help yourselves. Take photos. Sonoyka, thank you for the second. Alderman Budmats. All those in favor of closing the floor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, so we will close the floor. Moving on to the mayor's report this evening. Not much to report other than last Friday I attended the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus lunch downtown at the Union League Club. A lot of the conversation was focused on census and on revenue related to the census and complete count, especially targeting those hard-to-reach populations. And like I've said over and over during these meetings, you're going to hear a lot about the census. The other primary topic that was addressed was on revenues associated with the legalization of recreational cannabis. And those numbers are still coming in, but they're quite promising for revenue side of things for the greater Illinois and northeastern Illinois area. But as far as that's about it for my reports. Anything from Ward Aldermen and women to report on? Alderman Sonoyka.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I had a resident that reached out regarding what he thought was a automatic billing error, but what ended up being a typo on the part of our bank. So for residents, you'll notice that the utility bill payments that they received in their bank accounts were titled as payroll, CORM, instead of the City of Rolling Meadows or City of RM. And Finance was notified of that error at 8 a.m. on February 20th for that internal communication display error. I don't know if our Finance Director wanted to add any additional information regarding this error.
Thank you, Alderman Sonoyka. Yes, just to back up what you had said, 8 a.m. We were notified. It was an internal communications error between our bank. It has been corrected. That is for our AutoDraft customers, and that there are about 1,500 of those customers. We don't have any means right now, because we're in the old system, to notify anybody by email. So we're looking at those improvements in our new system so we can communicate more effectively with our residents, but that has been corrected, and the correct nomenclature for City of RM will be on the next direct debit for the month of March, but that was for the utility bill. Those amounts were correct.
Thank you.
Any further ward reports this evening? Seeing none, there are no signatures. There aren't any signatures on the sign-in sheet, so we will move beyond opening the floor to the public for items pending second reading. That being the first item, line A, ordinance number 20-06 to amend Chapter 14, Animals, and Appendix B of the Code of Ordinances. Is there a motion to adopt this ordinance?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman Sonoyka. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Alderman O'Brien. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, the question is, shall the ordinance be adopted? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Diastis.
Yes.
Sonoyka.
Yes.
Budmats.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Veneziano.
Yes.
Bessesi.
Yes.
With 6 in favor and none opposed, this ordinance is adopted. That brings us now to the next item on the agenda, which are the consent ordinances in for first reading. It consists of 4 items, items B through E. Does any alderman wish to remove an item from the consent agenda for ordinances?
Item D.
Item D from Alderman Veneziano. Any others from any other alderman? Wonderful. It now consists of 3 items, B, C, and E. The chair declares it in order for one motion to consider the 3 ordinances in one motion without debate. Can I have such a motion to make that for first reading?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman Diastis. Thank you, Alderman Budmats, for the second. That brings us to the first one, ordinance number 20-00, authorize the disposal of surplus city property equipment. Line item C, ordinance number 20-00, approve the renewal of the City of Rolling Meadows franchise agreement with Comcast of Illinois. Item E, ordinance number 20-00, approved liquor license application for a Class A2 liquor license for Giant Sakura located at 4011 Algonquin Road. The question is, shall the ordinances be moved forward for second reading? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Sonoyka.
Yes.
Budmats.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Veneziano.
Yes.
Bessesi.
Yes.
Diastis.
Yes.
That makes 6 in favor and none opposed. These ordinances will be moved forward for second reading. That then brings us back to ordinance number 20-00, amending the alcohol liquor code to approve a Class G1 liquor license for video gaming for MJ Hospitality LLC, doing business as Lulu's at 2633 Kirchhoff Road. Is there a motion to move this forward?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman Veneziano. Is there a second? Thank you, Alderman Diastis. Alderman Veneziano, you pulled this, so you have first crack at the whip here.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I pulled this item because the spirit of the G1 license was established to help our existing restaurants earn extra income. Constituents and myself believe we have lost sight of this intention of the G1 license in recent months. The applicant came before the City Council at a previous COW meeting several months back and stated that the lease for this property had been signed almost a year ago, but was holding off until this council had decided what the G1 ordinance was going to look like. If the applicant is truly, in fact, a restaurant and that needs the supplemental income from this gaming G1 license, it would most definitely stand to apply for this application. But since this business is not yet open and not has yet been established themselves as an existing restaurant in our community, I cannot support this application at this time.
Thank you for your comments. Is there further discussion on this item? Alderman Sonoyka?
Just a clarification then from Alderman Veneziano, if any additional action at this time would be proposed, or any amendments in order to move this forward.
So I would propose that we would postpone this until the meeting after the next COW meeting, this application.
And to clarify, the meeting after the COW meeting where the G1 conversation.
Correct. So I
Alderman
believe
O'Brien
it's 317.
brought up. Okay. Alderman O'Brien, you have your hand up. Are you seconding that, or you have more to discuss?
I have another comment, to discuss.
Okay. So if you're making a motion for that, I would like to see if there's a second for this motion to postpone. Alderman Budmats made the motion. Okay. Any discussion on the motion to postpone, or should I just take the vote now? Because I know you have comments, but I don't know if they're related to the postponing.
They are.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Then go ahead.
I do just want to clarify what was requested to be brought back at the Committee of the Whole meeting during the February 18th meeting was strictly the portion of the limitation within a half-mile radius was the guide we were using, the additional discussion. I asked to bring that portion back, which my understanding is the precedent it's allowed is to bring back a portion of it. So I actually am in support of this ordinance moving forward to issue the license because it would not be impacted by what I've asked to be postponed, because it would be the third one if approved within the corridor or the Kirchhoff corridor that we've been referencing. So I would support moving forward on it, not in support of delaying it until after that, because that discussion is solely guided towards the geography or the radius we want to discuss, and it would not impact this applicant's for going over the potential change in radius.
So, Alderman O'Brien, we can postpone for any particular reason because you brought up the topic of geography for the Committee of the Whole. That's what will be on the Committee of the Whole. There is no conversation about this particular substance of your request, which is about waiting period or duration of time in which they waited for the G1. So if you want to continue with postponing this until after that Committee of the Whole meeting, that's fine. We just will only be discussing the geographic proximity during that Committee of the Whole meeting. And are you okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I still would like to postpone until after the COW meeting.
Wonderful. Alderman Diastis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would, based on what I've heard, I would have to agree with Alderman O'Brien. If this geographically impacted, then I would agree with Alderman Veneziano. As it does not, I would support Mr. O'Brien, Alderman O'Brien's, I would be in agreement with Alderman O'Brien. Thank you.
Okay. Further discussion from any councilman or woman on this motion to postpone? Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, would we be able to make an amendment to the postponement such that Alderman Veneziano's topic would be included in the committee of the whole?
That's what I was just deferring to our attorney about, and the subject matter that's established for the committee of the whole is specifically based around geography.
Mm-hmm.
How could we incorporate this content?
So the motion to postpone is separate from whatever content is brought up at the committee of the whole meeting. So there's no need to amend the motion to postpone. This council can determine whether or not they want to bring up that other additional topic at the committee of the whole meeting, but that's a separate matter from this current motion.
Alderman Bessetti.
So what I'm hearing is it would take another alderman who was on the prevailing side of our previous vote on the G1 to bring up the topic of what Alderman Veneziano was talking about. And then we could talk about that at the COW meeting as well. Or another future COW meeting.
Do you mean?
So if we wanted to go beyond the geographic, it would take another alderman to bring up the topic for a COW meeting?
The items can be put. An item can be put on the agenda of the COW at the vote of the council, or at the direct. I believe the city manager. Can the city manager put items on the COW, Barry? I believe the city code authorizes for that as well.
That is correct. And what I would reiterate, if I can just pipe in, this is first reading. Typically, our standard is that first readings go through, and then if you're going to do a postponement, that's typically during the second reading if you want to do that. So as past practice, what I would say up to this point in time, before 2020 started, is first readings do go through, and then if you're going to do a postponement for more discussions, that's when typically a postponement is done, so it goes through a process. So respectfully, I do ask that it does get its first reading, and then if you want to do it. But I think, again, some of the comments that have been stated, the geography is on the March 17th Committee of the Whole meeting. That is my birthday, if you're really curious. But at the same point in time, the same thing is, I think that obviously the applicant is here. They've been very forthcoming with the process. They've been here and discussed it. This would be the third in that geography, no matter what happens. And again, as you've heard about their menu, it is sliders. It does have some of the other pieces. So again, I just put that out there that up until 2020, first readings did go through, was postponed typically at a second if you had more concerns.
Alderman Bessetti, last bite here.
Okay. One more point of clarification I will be asking. If it gets voted down, then they're done on this topic.
Yes.
They would have to resubmit and go through the process again, should they want it.
That's a true statement. Okay. Any further discussion before I call a vote for postponing this to the next committee of the whole?
And just to make sure I'm tracking correctly, if it were to go forward with postponement, we are going to potentially look at delaying this yet again till April for that one section, or it could be put on the March, or that would be we're delaying the applicant yet another month because it would be April before it would come to a COW, and then we're into May before it comes back for first or second reading. So I'm just saying that would extend the potential delay because it couldn't go on the March COW, it sounds like. So we'd be pushing it back another minimum 6 weeks.
Yeah, my understanding from what I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, but March 17th is the committee of the whole, and then it would be March 25th for that next first reading, unless you, again, typically would allow the first reading to go, then you can postpone on the second if you're really, or you just let it go through, and then it would still be in a March process, and they are before the IGA.
And with all due respect, ladies and gentlemen, during the committee of the whole, it is a roundtable informal discussion, and any component of this topic can be addressed and discussed. So should you wish to discuss geography in addition to timetables and wait periods or anything else that's a consideration of yours, that can be done. It's not limited to specifically geography. However, that was the premise for bringing this back to committee of the whole. Just keep that in mind.
Thank you. That was the premise, yeah.
Okay. So with that said, is there any other discussion from those who have not spoken twice? Alderman Budmats.
To the best of my knowledge, there's nothing that prevents a restaurant in Rolling Meadows from opening without a G1 liquor license. And so
That is
they'd
true.
be able to operate a restaurant, serve food, and run a business without having a gaming license. So I don't really think that we're holding up this applicant's ability to open a restaurant or to operate a business in Rolling Meadows at this point. So I have no problems with delaying this until we as council have decided how we're going to move forward with our G1 ordinance.
Thank you. That said, the question now is on the amendment to postpone this subject until after the committee of the whole in March. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Budmats.
Yes.
O'Brien.
No.
Veneziano.
Yes.
Bessesi.
Yes.
Diastis.
No.
Sunoika.
Yes.
That's 4 in favor of postponing and 2 opposed to postponing. That does pass. So now at this point, we have to just let this move on. We don't have to vote on the original because it's now postponed. Okay. Thank you. That now moves us on to new business, which is a motion to approve payment of bills on warrant for February 25th, 2020. Is there a motion to approve the warrant?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman Sonoyka. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Alderman Veneziano. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, the question is, shall the warrant be approved? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Budmats.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Veneziano.
Yes.
Bessesi.
Yes.
Diastis.
Yes.
Sunoika.
Yes.
With 6 in favor and none opposed, the warrant is approved. The next item on the agenda are the consent resolutions. This consists of 8 items, items G through N. Does any alderman wish to remove any item from the consent agenda for resolutions? Wonderful. Seeing none, the chair declares it in order for one motion to consider the 8 resolutions in one motion without debate. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Alderman Sonoyka. Is there a second?
So moved.
Thank you, Alderman O'Brien. First item G, resolution number 20-R-11. Approve the purchase of 6 Zoll cardiac monitor defibrillators and needed accessories for fire department. Line item H, resolution number 20-R-12. Approve the purchase of a breathing air rescue compressor, high pressure fill station, and storage tank system for the fire department. Line item I, resolution number 20-R-13. Authorize employees of police union to transfer benefit time to sick time bank of a union member. Line item J, resolution number 20-R-14. Award a contract to the Chorba Group, Inc. in the amount not to exceed $99,332.50 for the Sunset Drive, Brookview Lane Sanitary Sewer Project Design Engineering Services. Line item K, resolution number 20-R-15. Award a contract for professional services to update the 5-year plan for sanitary sewer system rehabilitation. Line item L, resolution number 20-R-16. Award a contract for 2020 street maintenance, crack sealing, and of various streets. Line item M, resolution number 20-R-17. Authorize the acceptance of a proposal for the professional design and engineering services for the design of the utility emergency backup power project. Finally, line item N, resolution number 20-R-18. Approve the submittal of a grant application for Algonquin Road, New Wilkie Road, Phase 1 preliminary engineering costs. The question is, shall the 8 resolutions be adopted? Will the clerk please call the roll?
O'Brien.
Yes.
Veneziano.
Yes.
Bessesi.
Yes.
Diastis.
Yes.
Sunoika.
Yes.
Budmats.
Yes.
With 6 in favor and none opposed, those resolutions are adopted. This brings us now to other business and reports. This evening, there are not any mayor's appointments, nor do I have any proclamations. Are there any things for the city clerk to report on?
No.
Thank you. That now brings us to city staff reports. City staff reports, community items of interest. Manager Crumstock.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. I actually have 2 additional that are not in the packet. One is happy 65th birthday to Rolling Meadows. It was incorporated in February 26, 1955. Obviously, the last day for voter registration to vote for the March 17th presidential primary election is February 18th. Early voting begins March 2nd. Please visit Cook County for voting locations. February 29th is the Taste of the Town from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. in the Community Center at 3705 Pheasant Drive. Tickets cost $15 at the door. Please contact the city, or you can also see Assistant to the City Manager, Lori Cizak, who's writing very quickly over there. For additional information, or call 847-394-8500, extension 1002. March 7th is the 19th annual Dr. Seuss celebration at the library. Morning sessions start at 10:30 a.m. and afternoon sessions start at 1:30 p.m. For more information, please contact the library. They do need readers still for both times. March 8th, daylight savings time begins. Remember to spring forward 1 hour, and it is also a smart idea to change the batteries in your smoke alarm and carbon monoxide detectors. Then March 12th through the 15th, Rolling Meadows Library Book Sale will be happening. Please contact the library at 847-259-6050 for hours or visit their website. Then we do have the St. Patrick's Day dinner, which is scheduled for Saturday, March 14th. This is the 20th annual St. Patrick's Day dinner for the city of Rolling Meadows. It's the first time that the Community Event Foundation will be taking it over, but it will be held at the Rolling Meadows Community Center at 3705 Pheasant Drive. For more information, please contact Lori again, who's now looking down instead of looking up. So she's working on her script over there. March 22nd is the Law Enforcement Torch Run. This is the Polar Plunge for Special Olympics, Illinois. It is conducted at Twin Lakes Palatine. It's starting around noon. If you've ever been it, when they say noon, they start getting people in and out, so it's very quick. To donate or to participate, please contact Police Chief John Nowacki. Did you guys have a theme yet? Okay. If you're going to join, you dress up as a wrestler. So wait for those photos later on. This is a unique opportunity to support Special Olympics, and again, all the money goes back to that. It is at Twin Lakes on that date that I mentioned. The torch run is actually conducted in June. Then, obviously, it's February. We do want to reiterate that the February electronic news and views, which is called e-news and views, is out there. You just have to go to our website, click on News and View tab. Obviously, we do have items about community events for 2020, the census, the March 17th referendum regarding aldermanic term limits, the budget overview, and some other items in there, too. The last one, which is on the sheet before I add the 2 that are not on the sheet, Economic Development Committee will be meeting in March. That will be Tuesday, March 3rd at 6 p.m. right here in this council chambers. Tentative items of discussion consist of new business feedback and contact distribution, the business and community showcase discussion, and that is April 23rd. The business advocate update, items of interest, obviously Public Works Director Rob Horn will be doing a presentation about community development. And then obviously on that night, starting at 7 or 7:30, I still have the Planning and Zoning Commission will be meeting, and they do have tentatively some discussion regarding obviously the zoning code and some other items that are in there. The 2 items that I do want to mention is one is happening on Sunday, March 1st, so you can go to the Taste on Saturday, and then you go to the Stadium on Sunday, March 1st between noon and 2 p.m. That will be the 2nd annual. Rolling Meadows Chamber of Commerce Chili Challenge. The Chiefs will have participants in there. Last year, Chief Nowacki won. It also helped where the guys on the shift came by and voted. But right now, the challengers are the Pearl, Reps Place, Finn McCool, the stadium, obviously. Police and Fire will be participating, and then Myers will be. And again, the second item that I do want to mention, and there's still opportunities to RSVP, the Rolling Meadows Chamber of Commerce will be doing the 15th annual Taking Care of Business Luncheon featuring Mayor Gallo. You'll be doing the economic update at that point in time. It is Wednesday, March 11th. It's at the Meridian Banquet, 1701 West Algonquin Road. If you would like to participate, please look for a flyer. Please see anybody at staff or visit the Chamber of Commerce website. So those are the two other items to add on.
Thank you, Manager Krumstock. So just about the time that I failed all of my New Year's resolutions for health gains, we have the Taste of the Town and the Chili Cook-Off. This is great. Why do we have a 2020 January new business recap for us as well?
So obviously we do have the January 2020 list. There's 6 businesses that are in there. There's 1 new owner from Simply Beauty, which is on Myers Drive. We do have one interesting new business, and it's the Korean Daily Chicago. That's their newspaper that they actually are producing now here in Rolling Meadows. So we hope that you like the new look. This is one of the new items that we did talk about, the Economic Development Committee. They actually do see a different look because these are new businesses. If you're a business that's been in the community and then now we've actually got you as a new business, but you've been here, that's a different sheet that we have. But these are all 6 new businesses that moved in January 2020.
Nice. Thank you. Now I'll change gears and I'm going to defer to Ms. Gallagher on the fiscal year 2021 budget and capital tentative planning calendar.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Within the council packet, we have a presentation, just a short one, that releases the 2021 budget and capital planning calendar. And work has already begun on the budget. We had our first meeting for 2020 for our Capital Improvements Committee tonight. And that does mark this year, 2020, the 8th year that we've had our Capital Improvement Committee work with the city to provide recommendations to the City Council on capital improvements. Following our schedules in the past, we've got the actual calendar, the planning calendar that kicks everything off, and we'll just put that in the packet. And as always, typically in the month of June, when we present the city's audit to the City Council, we would also have a discussion on reserve use. And then also we try to pair that up with budget parameter discussion as well. So as you have thoughts and ideas, always just send them to the city manager for review for the budget planning.
Nice. Thank you. On another note, the fourth quarter financials.
Thank you. Continuing on, we in the packet have our unaudited financial statements as of operations as of December 31st, 2019. I did put a big footnote on the top cover of the memo letting you know again that the city's auditors are working with staff on the city's audit. We have major revenues that we receive in January, February, and March, and those are called accruals. And those accruals are actually recorded back to the fiscal year 2019, so we received the money in 2020, but those are recorded in 2019. So obviously, sitting here today, we do not know all of those receipts for February and March yet. And so those are the larger revenues, such as income tax, our last receipts for property tax, home rule sales tax, telecom. Those are the larger receipts for the general fund. So there are some fluctuations between the estimated unaudited financial statements and what you will receive in the city's audit for 2019. We're continuing on. The audit is going well. Within this packet and report, we have usually the focus on the general fund. So we have the income statement, our year-to-date financial detailed revenue report, our revenue charts. And then just wanted to cover a couple things in the memo itself. On page 2 of the memo, what we did was show you the, as of fourth quarter, so fourth quarter is all in for the year, about 100% when we say for the year. Obviously, we're just telling you it's unaudited for the year. We focus on the general fund, so there's a chart in the memo, and it tells you revenues and expenditures. And the important thing to remember is that when the budget was adopted, we did budget what you would call a budgeted deficit for the year. And we also then, in our unaudited financial statement, show a deficit for the year. And what that just means is that revenues are under expenditures. And so when you look at the deficit per the budget and the deficit per the unaudited financial statements, you will see that we're actually doing a little bit better for the year, better than budget. With that being said, we're a little bit better in revenues, and we're a little bit under in expenditures. Again, those numbers are going to not be completely per what the city's audit is, because we're still recording transactions right now. But I added an additional chart to help you kind of orient yourself. So when we take that year-end unaudited deficit, as we call, coming in at negative $491,000, when you take your audited financials, which was $11.1 million, that was our reserves at the end of 2018, and then you take that deficit position, and then you also add in what we have prepaid expenses and restriction for compensated absences, we're looking at an estimated ending fund balance for the general fund at $9.1 million, or 9.2 if you round up a little bit. What that means is our fund balance parameters are quite strong. So 15 to 30% is our range that we should be sitting at, and we're at about a 27% range right now. So we're on the little bit higher end. That means also that we're showing some stronger receipts in certain areas. There are some receipts that are a little bit lower. We talk about telecom. We know about that. We're monitoring that. That's a little bit lower. We're monitoring those things, but then we're seeing some things are a little bit higher. Food and beverage come to mind as a increase overall because of the fact that we have new restaurants coming in and some of the video gaming is helping that. So just all in, just letting you know where we sit for the general fund. It's very important to acknowledge that we also had that same estimated ending surplus, very similar to what's showing on this report as well. Moving on just a little bit, in the memo itself, we also have our transfers per the budget. We always like to acknowledge that. We did have 2 budget amendments that the City Council approved in 2019. All of that will be documented in the city's audit. Just overall, in the charts, you'll see some of those fluctuations for the sales tax, income tax, and so on for the general fund. But in a nutshell, what I just wanted to drive home is that our budgeted estimates are very much in line with what we're seeing, and we're still quite in line with our budget parameters for the general fund. Moving on through the utilities fund and refuse fund, 2 of our larger funds. For operating funds, we're still on track for utilities fund. Obviously, that we were able to invest in our infrastructure for capital. That's where some of our bonds sit, and then that's coming in line as well. And then the refuse fund is on track as well. Looking at cash and investments overall, our overall unaudited position is $32.5 million. Obviously, $32.5 million. There are restrictions on that based on the type of fund structure, but we're very much in line where we were for 2018 and actually a little bit better. And lastly, we have lots of detailed notes within the actual financials themselves, and we're always happy to take any questions. We always provide quite a detailed look through the audit process, and we'll present the final audited results in the month of June. So happy to take any questions if you have any.
Nice, thank you. Moving on from there, on a little bit of a lighter note, the Taste of the Town and the St. Patrick's Day dinner. Ms. Cizak?
Thank you, Mayor. We hope to see you this Saturday, February 29th, for the 4th annual Taste the Town event at the Community Center from 6 to 9 p.m. for this fun night out. This indoor Taste of Rolling Meadows will feature delicious sample portions, while supplies last, from the following Rolling Meadows restaurants: Daisy's Cafe, the Stadium Sports Club, Giant Sakura, Grande Jake's, Reps Place, Picante Mexican Bar and Grill, Noodles and Company, Fratello's Honey Baked Ham, Los Tu Amigos, Kirchhoff Food Mart, Papa Severios, Senor Tacos, Portillo's, Little Caesars, Dunkin' Donuts on Kirchhoff, and Amish Farmers. To taste from these fine establishments, guests will be charged $15 per person to enter the event, which will also feature live music by the popular How to Go dueling pianos and a cash bar that includes beer, wine, margaritas, pop, and water. This event is hosted by the City of Rolling Meadows, the Rolling Meadows Park District, Community Events Foundation, and Chamber of Commerce. We hope to see you there. 2 weeks later, on Saturday, March 14th, the City and Park District have teamed up for a festive Celtic celebration featuring Irish American dinner, open bar, and lively Irish folk music by the band Aaronmore. The best Irish attire contest and exciting raffle drawings make this event a shamrockin' good time. Purchase dinner tickets at City Hall, the Park District, or on the city's webpage for $30 per person and $35 after March 4th. Reverse raffle tickets are $30 each, with a possible $1,500 grand prize to a single winner. These tickets are also available at City Hall or the Park District. We hope to see you there.
Thank you, Lori. Moving on to the last item on this section, employee acknowledgements. Director Horn?
I didn't know what else to call it. So we always, as an employee retires, we give them the opportunity to be presented with a proclamation. We don't force it on them. This employee did not want to, but I did want to say a couple words. I would just ask the residents and the city council to join me in congratulating Jeff Swenson for his dedicated service to the city of Rolling Meadows and its Public Works Department for the last 20 years as vehicle services mechanic. We wish him well as he looks forward to the exciting next chapter of his life. That's all I have.
Nice, thank you. We applaud him.
If you see him, he's Curly. He's not Jeff Swenson. Just call him Curly.
Noted. Moving on from that, we have matters not on the agenda as the next item to discuss. Are there any matters not on the agenda? Alderman Sonoyka.
I just wanted to state here, for those who have lasted this long at home for the city council meeting, we are actively strategizing as a city to make sure that we are counting every single resident here in the city of Rolling Meadows. Because this count happens every 10 years, for every person that we do not count, they essentially do not exist. And it adds up to about $15,000 in federal funds that we won't receive specifically for Rolling Meadows. For those of you that are very concerned about taxes, and we just had our tax levy and the other financials that Melissa Gallagher, our finance director, just proposed to everyone else, there are funds that will be directly affected by an undercount this year. So with that said, if you're interested in helping the city with this effort, please contact me at Ward7, WARD7 at cityrm.org. And then we can find opportunities for you or for those that you know who would be able to assist. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, Alderman Sonoyka. Last week on Friday, one of the statistics mentioned was $1,400 per person per year for 10 years is how much money it equates to for cities to receive so long as we count those individuals. So it's a staggering number when you figure the entire population. Are there further matters not on the agenda? Seeing none, there is a request then to go into closed session. There are two items on closed session's agenda. The first is land acquisition of Section 5 ILCS 120-2 of the Illinois Opens Meeting Act, as well as the other item of personnel, 5 ILCS 120-2 of the Illinois Open Meetings Act. It does require a motion and a roll call vote. Do I have a motion to go into closed session? Thank you, Alderman Budmatz. Is there a second? Thank you, Alderman O'Brien. Is there any discussion on this? Seeing none, the question is, shall we go into closed session? And will the clerk please call the roll?
Veneziano.
Yes.
Bessesi.
Yes.
Diastis.
Yes.
Sunoika.
Yes.
Budmatz.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
With 6 in favor and none opposed, we do plan on going into closed session now. The audience and press are advised that we do not anticipate taking any action upon returning to open session. So thank you and have a wonderful evening. Better survive. It's good.